Well, as promised, I am doing another crappy unboxing of Warcry starter set. I've taken the liberty of removing the plastic already, just so I can open this thing because it is quite large. This box is no longer in production, sadly. It's a really good box. It has a lot of stuff in it. Everything you see here, you can't see here because you're blinded. Everything you see here is in the box. Pretty great. It's got, got 2 war bands, the Iron Golems, the Untamed Beasts. It's also got all these chaotic beasts that come with it. I mean, they get retailed for about, I want to say 160 at the time of its release. Maybe it was closer to 200. Well, that's how much I paid for it anyway. I've seen quite a few of these around since they have been out of production, and they're a lot more common than you may think. And if you happen to see one and you're interested in Warcry or even just the terrain, I would definitely recommend you pick it up, because the way it looks to me is the terrain that's in this set that is sold now is half as much as you would get if you bought this box. And it's like $80, $90 retail. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, just look at the amount of plastic in this freaking thing. It's huge. Just right off the bat, I mean, you've got the 2 war bands here, and they're not even most of this. Like, you've got these sprues here for, these are the Iron Golems. Pretty cool sculpts. I don't like some of these because like they have these like chain bits, and they're real spindly, they're real fragile, and you know they're gonna break at some point. But they're still really good looking models, regardless. If you're not interested in these models, I'm not particularly interested in the warband myself. There is a dwarf in here though that is like a chaos dwarf. He's freaking pretty sweet looking. There actually are a couple of female characters in this, which is cool. It's nice to see that they're, doing some females. Females are interesting models. I mean, it's better than the sausage fests that we're used to. So you get these 2 sprues, I think, is the whole warband. 3 sprues for the Iron Golems. The Untamed Beasts are really cool. Out of the 2, I would definitely be more interested in the Untamed Beast. You got a lot of fur going on with them, and the models look great. I've actually had one of these before, and I assembled it, and they were pretty rad. And then I can't remember if I lost interest or I was trying to find another project. I ended up selling that set, so I was pretty lucky to be able to find another one that I could get and build. I'm probably going to keep the Untamed Beasts, but I'll probably see if I can sell the Iron Golems. I'm not really too interested in those. But yeah, looks like you're getting 3 sprues, these tiny sprues for each warband. And then you get these chaotic beast sprues, and these have like, I guess they call them Furies, and they're kind of like these little gargoyle looking things, and I think they're called Raptorix. They're like some kind of weird lizard dog with wings thing. So you're gonna get like 6 sprues of those. Now let's just look at the amount of sprues, just for get an idea. This is just what you're getting, and this is the warbands and the chaotic beasts. Everything else in here is just terrain. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 7 sprues of terrain. And this terrain is pretty sweet. I mean, these are just like some walkways and some like fencing, improvised fencing. Nice little chaos emblem there. I mean, it's a pretty rad set, man. If you can get your hands on it, even if you don't like, Age of Sigmar, and you don't like Warcry, I mean, the terrain is good enough. I mean, you could totally use it for 40k or kill team, and I mean, there's so much of it. Like, they quit producing this so quickly, and I think it was because they realized how much crap they put in this box. Frankly, just knowing G-dubs. But, I mean, the detail on these things is pretty nice. I don't know how good you can see at this angle. But, you've got some, see, I mean, like, you're looking at this here. I mean, this could be any building in 40k. Just like, most of their terrain is kind of, it has the aesthetic where could be universal across both of the systems, and nobody would question it. Then, like, you've got these, some more solid walls. I think this is the same sprue twice. And then, you've got this sprue is actually cool. It makes a little bell tower. And there's, like, I don't know, if you had another one, you could probably turn it into a gallows or something. There's some little ladders, these little skeletons. These little skeletons here actually go inside these little arches right here. These little hanging skeleton dudes, these guys are rad. I think when I assembled my last one, I didn't actually put these on because I just figured they would break off. I was going to save them for some other terrain or something like that. But this one's actually a pretty cool sprue. You get this giant head, and all this makes like a little bridge thing that you kind of sit on top of it. So yeah, it's pretty sweet, and it's pretty big. I mean, if you see, like, this is some Stormcast Eternal guy. I mean, I don't even remember where I got this. I think I got this in a trade. I actually bought some of the Chaos Cultists from Blackstone Fortress, and this was kind of in the box with them. Not from GW. It was a online trade. And here's a, little, Renegade Guardsman. You see how big that thing is? I mean, it's pretty huge. More fences. These, I really like these. These were really cool. They're like prison walls, kind of, sort of. So my goal here is to kind of have this built, and they have some other terrain sets available. I think I'm gonna go pick one up tomorrow. I think it was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of the Warcry boxes that one of my local game stores actually has in stock still. I'm probably gonna snag that so I can have this as, like, kind of like a prison area, build it up, because I mean, this terrain is really great. It's universal. You could use it with pretty much any system you want to play with, and it's really got a lot of character. So then after all that, I mean, there's a lot in this box. A lot. You have this, the now customary divider paper. Flip side, you get the print for the cover of the box. It's pretty nice. You might frame that, hang it up. It's a cool picture. And in this thing, you're gonna get some tokens. This is a double-sided board. There's one side that's more like city, and the other side, I think it's more like a barren desert type thing. Don't really want to open this right this second because, whatever. But yeah, you're gonna have all these tokens that correspond to the game, and you've got multiple decks of cards. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 decks of cards right there. And I'm a bit concerned now because I think I might not have any bases, which would be a travesty. And then you've got, this is the cards for the war bands. They're all here. And just like with the big card packs you used to get, this is going to have all the rules listed, special rules for the Iron Golems and Untamed Beasts. And this is the Chaotic Beast rules, obviously. Promo for the fiction. Do love the GW fiction. It's good stuff. Why are there loose bases in there? It's very strange. Okay, well, here is the main rule book, which is good to have. assembly instructions. This is a great book. I mean, it's not, there is no shortage of quality in this book. It's one of the better books that they've produced. I just cut this. You saw me cut it. Assembly instructions. Good quality assembly instructions. See, these are all the bases that I'm not seeing yet. Which, to be fair, it's not a whole lot of bases I'm out of, so not too worried about it. But still, bases are not free. I'm running out of battery power. And this is, oh, what's in the box? Look at this. Oh, getting started. This must be quick start rules. That's awesome. I don't remember getting one of these in my last copy. Maybe I got bases instead. But yeah, pretty nice. This looks like a brief rundown of the rules. That's awesome. That's cool. That might be handy. And then the rule books. This is actually a great book. It's got a whole section on the fluff, you know, about the 8 points, and that's where the, you know, kind of where the game takes place, or UGW says the game takes place. But I mean, you could recreate whatever you want. I mean, I'm a fan of the setting of Mordheim, and I'm actually working on some Skaven for this system and some undead. I've got, you know, a Flesh Eater Quartz box, and I've got, you know, some vampires from the Underworld set, and I managed to snag a copy of Cursed City, so I'm gonna use some of those zombies and stuff. And I'm gonna be playing Warcry and Mordheim because I like that setting a lot better. I'm actually debating whether or not I need to get a Order Grand Alliance book so I can make some what do you call them, mercenaries. I don't even know if they have those, but yeah, this book is really great. It's got a bunch of fluff in the beginning. It goes on the individual war bands, all the individual war bands that were created for Warcry. Spire Tyrants is another one that I want to get. And then it kind of goes into the other Age of Sigmar factions a little bit, and then got the core rules and everything, and then it goes back, you know, it's got matched open play. It's got a bunch of different scenarios, and all of this stuff kind of corresponds with the terrain in the box. And there actually is you want to build the terrain in a certain way. I'll probably do a video of it later, but where if you do get your hands on one of these, you don't just build it. There are scenarios in one of these decks of cards here, I'll probably open those in a second, that show you how to lay out the terrain for whatever game system. Kind of like this here, it'll show you this is what you want to set up, and if you don't build the terrain correctly, you can't actually fulfill all of the terrain obligations for the cards, which you may care, you may not care. I mean, for my part, you know, I want to be able to have as much versatility out of it as I possibly can. But yeah, I mean, you look at the scenarios. These are all like little scenarios based on rolling dice or drawing cards if you have the deck. So I mean, you could theoretically build this set by buying the terrain kits that are available now, but you're gonna pay more money in the long run. I mean, just to recreate the terrain, you would pay more than you would for this box, which is why I'm convinced that they killed it so quickly. And they do have another box out now, but it's like underground stuff. But yeah, they have, and all of the books have this, where this is like background tables, they call them, where you basically roll a die and it'll give you some names, first name, last name for your character, and then, you know, it has like the origins, so you get like a little backstory thing. Has no bearing in the game whatsoever, but if that's your thing. In the back, they've got the roster, tournament roster, you know, stuff that you can use your printer with or without their permission. Who cares? I mean, you're not selling it, right? But this is a good book. Put this on the shelf now with my other books. All right, so then we have some rogue bases. I'm gonna pull this off, and I'm gonna think. I bet there's some bases under here. I really hope there is. What do you think? Oh, there they are. Bases, more bases. I'm gonna get some full dice. They're big dice too. Nice big chunky dice. Probably ½ inch wide. Pretty good. Loads of bags. Different stuff. More bases. Gosh, keep all that separate. Now the cards. Like I said, you got 4 different decks of cards, and they all have a different purpose. So, I mean, this is another reason, like, if you're, oh, look, it's got this thing, like, anybody who's ever bought a pack of cigarettes, it's like that. Good to know. But they have these decks of cards that, I guess this is like a deployment. Shows you how you want to deploy. Let's open this now. It doesn't have a little cellophane. Oh, it does. Look at that. Wow. See, they went all out even on the wrapping on this box. It's a shame they don't make the like of it anymore. But yeah, these are just like deployment. See a few of these. I mean, you're not gonna, I don't think you're gonna get these in any of the terrain kits. That's why if you are interested in Warcry, this is, if you can get one of these, and you can find them online. I think people sell them for about $250 now. Roundabouts, sometimes 300 for, you know, people do. But it's really worth it if you can get it at somewhere around 200, because you're not gonna get all of this stuff. And these game aids, I'm a huge fan of game aids. I think they make things a little more convenient. Let's see, victory cards. All right, let's find that little tab. There it is. All right, we've got it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the deck of cards that, yeah, these are kind of like objectives. And again, I haven't thoroughly read the rule books. I've flipped through it a few times, so I don't really know what's going on here, but these look like they're victory conditions. Like these, you know, somebody who doesn't know is going to say that looks like you draw one of these cards and this is what you got to accomplish. But there's several. I mean, it just seems like I think they did a really good job with this box. This is probably, if I felt like showing you my shelf, I've bought pretty much every big box that GW's come out with in the last, I don't know, 10 years that I've been in the hobby. And, oh, I have a guest. It's my daughter. My daughter is here. She came to get her phone. But I bought every single box that big box they've created in the last, for a long time. And it started with, I guess, maybe it was a 5th edition starter set for 40K. Actually, I take that back. I'm not every, but I bought quite a few. I mean, I bought, Salt and Black Reach, the Dark Vengeance box set, Dark Imperium, the Necromunda box, the original Necromunda box that came out, not the original, but the very first one when they re-released it. I bought that. All 3 of the Warhammer quests that they've released on the fantasy side. I have not bought Blackstone Fortress. I just like that better as a fantasy genre. But as far as like crap in the box, this is like this box has more crap in it than any of them. Not as far as like model wise, like individual models, but like the weight of this box is ridiculous. I know that the other Necromunda box, they released a big Necromunda box that had like a lot of buildings and stuff in it. That was probably the only other one that would rival this one as far as the amount of stuff in the box. But this deck, as I ramble, is like I was saying, you assemble the terrain. These are the terrain layouts for the game, and if you build the terrain correctly, you can fulfill every single one of these, and that's just one thing to think about if you get your hands on one of these. And there are tutorials and guides. I'll probably do another Krappy one whenever I get around to building mine sometime soon. But yeah, that's the third deck of cards that comes with, and I can't remember what this last one is. It is twist cards. All right. Yeah. I like that they're doing this with some of these systems now. They're throwing in random things happening, kind of just shake things up. It's cool. If nothing else, it's an interesting concept. I mean, however it functions in game with like another person, I don't know, because I don't play games that much. But you know, I just like to collect things and build things, and I have a shelf full of stuff. Okay. Hot Winds bring them to the target chain of person. Dark Corner's presence on this battlefield. Add 1 to the attacks and strength charges for all fighters in this battle, with 1 or more damage points allocated to them. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's a lot like the deck for 40k, where you have a twist and it brings some randomness to the game. Pretty cool. But again, there's a ton of these too. So just what's in the box, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, all concerned parties with my shiesty unboxing videos. I mean, let's go ahead and look at this just for fun. We're getting on at about 22 minutes here, so we'll wrap this up real quick. Don't want to scratch the actual board. I think I got away with not doing that this time. Alright. But yeah, tokens. Lots of tokens. Put that there. And these cardboard mats. Well, they're great for like when you buy the box game and everything. And they do look great. What I've been told, they are photographs of actual painted 3D terrain boards, and they do look pretty nice. But it's still a freaking piece of cardboard, and I don't understand why GW sell these things. You can buy them individually. See what I was saying? It's two-sided. You can buy these things individually, but they charge like $50 for these things. And like I said, for putting in a big box like this, great. I could see paying, for, $150, $200 for a box. You get something like this just to get you going. But to sell this individually for, 50 or whatever is some astronomical price. I was floored when I saw how much they were selling these for. Couldn't believe it. There's plenty of other options you can get out there for the same amount of money, giving the size that this is. You can get actual mat, like a roll-up, with that mouse pad material, be doing a lot better, and it would last longer. But these are nice to get going on, and, I'm not going to throw it away, obviously. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this installment of a Krappy unboxing. Now I'm going to put everything back in the box and work on some models that I'm already working on. Probably get the terrain built by this weekend. End of this weekend. I've had a pretty crazy few weeks, so a few months actually. And then I was in this whole thing where I was playing Ark, so I was not doing anything with hobby. So I'm looking to get back into the swing of hobby things, try to make some more content. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was somewhat informative. I doubt it was, but you know, I just thought some people might want to see what was in one of these things if they were maybe thinking about buying one. If you can find one. Have a lovely evening.